It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both.
Goodness alone is an illusion. If you still believe that morality leads to success, you have already lost. And the worst part, you have felt it. You have lived it. Every time your honesty was met with betrayal. Every time your kindness was mistaken for weakness. Every time you played by the rules, only to watch those who didn't rise above you. They taught you that virtue is rewarded, that fairness governs the world. But tell me, where is the justice for the countless nameless men who worked hard, remained loyal, and did the right thing, only to be discarded the moment they were no longer useful? The world does not recognize virtue. It recognizes power, and power does not belong to those who wait to be chosen. It belongs to those who understand the game. Machiavelli saw what most refuse to admit. The world is not kind. It is not fair. It does not reward truth. It rewards those who know how to shape perception, how to wield influence, how to move in the shadows while others blindly follow the light. Power is not about strength, it is about control. Control of yourself, control of your emotions, control of how others see you. So ask yourself, how many times have you been played because you assumed others were playing by the same rules? How many times have you watched the cunning rise while the noble fell? If you are honest, you will see it, and the truth will haunt you. Goodness without power is irrelevant, and those who fail to understand this will spend their lives at the mercy of those who do. But this is not a call to abandon morality. It is a call to master it, to wield kindness like a weapon, not a weakness, to make your presence so undeniable that the world has no choice but to respect you. The true lesson of power is not to be feared instead of loved, nor to be ruthless instead of kind. It is to control both, to know when to extend a hand and when to pull it away. The question is not whether you will play the game. The question is whether you will win it. The greatest lie ever told was that goodness is enough, that if you simply do what is right, the universe will conspire in your favor. But tell me, when has the world ever rewarded purity over pragmatism? How many nameless martyrs have been forgotten while the cunning, the strategic, the ones who understood power, built empires? You have been taught to believe in a world that does not exist, a world where honesty guarantees trust, where kindness ensures loyalty. But if that were true, why is it that those who rise, the politicians, the CEOs, the leaders, are not the purest of heart, but the ones who understand how to play the game? Think about your own life. How many times have you been walked over simply because you assumed that others were playing by the same rules? How many times have you trusted when you should have questioned? If you are honest, you will see it. Your own goodness has been used against you. And the reason is simple. Power is not given, it is taken. The world is not cruel, it is indifferent. It does not care about your intentions, only your ability to execute them. It does not reward purity, only the illusion of strength. And those who do not learn to wield kindness as a strategy are doomed to be pawns in a game they never realized they were playing. The world does not care who you are, it cares who you appear to be. And the sooner you understand this, the sooner you will stop waiting for recognition that will never come. Because power is not about truth, it is about perception. And perception is the currency of influence. Think about it. How many times have you seen incompetence rise while true talent was ignored? How many times have you seen someone less intelligent, less capable, walk into a room and command respect simply because they look like they belong? Machiavelli knew that leadership is not given to the most moral, nor the most deserving. It is given to the one who understands the game. And the game has only one rule: control how you are seen, or be controlled by those who see you as weak. If a man speaks with absolute certainty, even when he is wrong, why do people listen? And if another man, wiser, more knowledgeable, speaks with hesitation, why is he ignored? Because truth alone is not enough. It has never been enough. The world does not function on facts. It functions on belief. And those who shape belief shape reality. The world does not punish kindness, but it does punish naivety. To believe that goodness alone safeguards you is to misunderstand the very nature of power. How often has your sincerity been met with indifference? How many times has your generosity been mistaken for obligation rather than a choice? Those who give without strategy, who extend their hands without understanding leverage, become tools for the ambitions of others. Machiavelli did not reject morality, he exposed its limits. Morality, if not reinforced by wisdom, becomes a silent contract of submission, where the noble are consumed by those who know how to wield perception and control. Power does not rest in virtue alone. It rests in the ability to command value. That which is abundant is overlooked. That which is freely given is taken for granted. People do not cherish what they can always have, and kindness, without the backbone of restraint, becomes invisible. The greatest minds in history understood this. Caesar granted clemency not out of weakness, but to solidify control. Lincoln exercised mercy, but only as a tool to unite a fractured nation. They knew that true generosity is not boundless. It is precise, calculated, and strategically deployed. Kindness, when paired with intelligence, is not submission, it is influence. Power is not always in what is said, it is in what is willed. The world has trained you to believe that speaking is strength, that being heard is equivalent to being respected. But when has revealing everything ever secured an advantage? Those who speak without measure believe they are in control, yet they are the ones being influenced, dissected, and ultimately outmaneuvered. Silence, when wielded with intention, is not a void, it is a force. It compels attention, unsettles opponents, and forces others to reveal themselves first. And in a world where perception is reality, mystery is a more potent weapon than any spoken word. Machiavelli understood that the most powerful leaders do not move predictably. They do not waste words proving themselves to those who are undeserving of explanation. Instead, they let speculation work in their favor. The greatest emperors, generals, and minds of history did not command with noise but with presence. The unknown forces respect. The uncertain instills fear. Because the moment people cannot read you, they must assume. An assumption, more often than not, elevates you beyond what even the truth could achieve. Ask yourself, how often have you spoken when silence would have served you better? How many times have you justified yourself to those who never deserved an explanation? How many times have you given away your thoughts, your emotions, your strategies simply to fill the silence? Control is not always about what you express. More often, it is about what you refuse to give away. The ones who understand this do not just demand respect, they command it without ever having to ask. Power is not just in action, it is in restraint. The moment someone can make you react, they own you. They dictate the battlefield, they determine the rules, and they reduce you to a mere participant in a game you no longer control. Anger, fear, desperation, these are the levers by which men are made to act against their own interests. The world is not controlled by those who are the loudest or the strongest, but by those who refuse to be moved by anything but their own will. Machiavelli understood that power belongs to those who cannot be shaken, those who, despite the chaos, the provocation, the rising tempers, remain unmoved. Because in a world where most people live at the mercy of their impulses, the one who remains composed holds the reins of fate. History does not remember those who lashed out in moments of weakness. It remembers those who stood their ground while others lost control. The rulers who maintained composure, the minds who moved with precision while others burned in their own emotions. These are the ones who dictated history. Look at your own life. How many times have you given away power simply because someone knew how to provoke you? How many times have you made choices, not because they were the right ones, but because they were reactions? The world belongs to those who master themselves, those who pause before speaking, those who question before reacting, because the one who controls himself controls his destiny, and the one who cannot, he will always be controlled by those who can. The world is designed to consume those who conform. It rewards those who follow the rules, until the moment they are no longer needed. Then, it discards them. The system is not built to elevate the obedient, it is built to sustain itself, and those who move as expected, who obey without question, who fade into the background are not seen. They are forgotten. But those who refuse to be defined, those who do not move as predicted, those who break the pattern, these are the anomalies. These are the ones who force the system to adapt to them, rather than adapting to the system. Look at history. Every name that survived the test of time did not belong to those who conformed. It belonged to those who shattered expectations, the ones who could not be ignored, because they did not fit into any mold, the ones who rewrote the rules instead of following them. So, ask yourself, how much of your life has been lived for the approval of others? How many decisions have you made simply because it was what you were supposed to do? How many times have you silenced your instincts in the name of acceptance? Every time you have done so, you have chosen invisibility. But if you wish to be seen, if you wish to carve your name into something greater than the present moment, then you must break away. You must step outside of what is expected. Because in the end, history does not remember the ones who followed. It remembers the ones who refused to be ordinary. The world does not change its rules for you. It does not pause to recognize your kindness, nor does it reward those who simply wait their turn. It moves forward, indifferent, ruthless, favoring those who understand its nature and punishing those who pretend it is something it is not. And now you must ask yourself, will you continue to live in the illusion that morality alone is enough? That fairness guarantees victory? That the world will one day see your worth without you forcing it to? Machiavelli did not write The Prince to teach cruelty. He wrote it to teach survival. Because in a world that devours the unprepared, power is not optional, it is necessary. And power is not always in strength. It is in perception, in strategy, in silence, in control. It is in knowing when to speak and when to remain unreadable. It is in kindness wielded with intelligence, in unpredictability mastered with precision. Power belongs to those who do not wait for permission to take it. Look at your own life. How many moments have been stolen from you simply because you hesitated? How many opportunities lost because you followed the rules instead of writing your own? How many times have you been overlooked, underestimated, used, because you did not realize that the game was never designed to be fair? The moment you accept this, the moment you stop resisting reality and start mastering it, you stop being a victim. You become something else entirely. But knowing is not enough. Understanding these truths will not change your life. Action will. Will you continue to play the role you were given? Or will you take control of the narrative? Will you remain predictable? Or will you become something the world cannot ignore? The choice is yours. But know this, those who hesitate, those who conform, those who remain unseen, are forgotten. And those who learn to move with strategy, with discipline, with an understanding of how the world truly works, they do not just survive, they dominate. So tell me, are you ready to stop being a spectator in the game? Or will you be the one who writes the rules? If this made you question everything, if it forced you to see the world in a way you never have before, then you belong here. This is just the beginning. Subscribe to Philosage, where we don't just tell stories, we unveil the hidden forces that shape power, influence, and control. The game is already being played. It's time you learned how to win it.